Hello, good morning, and welcome to AMA Puget Sound's Coffee Talk series. We've got a very special episode today with the volunteers of AMA Puget Sound. Today we have Veronika Zwicke, Joshua Blount, and Carley Pierce. Good morning. How is
Good
everybody?
morning. So far, so good.
So far, so good. It's Thursday. So let's see. We want to talk about some stuff. We want to talk about you, and we want to learn more about our volunteers. So first of all, I'm going to have a go around. We're going to do popcorn style because it seems to be fun. Of who are you? What are you? Where are you helping in the chapter? And what do you do in your day job? So I'm going to start with you, Veronika.
Ooh, fun. Okay, so hi, I'm Veronika. I'm the Collegiate Relations Manager for AMA Puget Sound. I've actually had a long history with AMA. I was the collegiate president Seattle U from, I want to say 2012 through, no, 2015 through 2018. So long time doing that, was super involved there and came over to AMA Puget Sound after graduating. I've been in the industry for a few years and kind of missed it. I was like, I miss my marketing community. So I decided to come over and help out the college kids because that's where I spent most of my time. So might as well lend over some of that knowledge that I have there. And in my day to day, I am the director of marketing at Legacy Group Capital. We're a private lending company. We do real estate acquisition and development. We do private loans. We do all of it here in Seattle. So we cover it all. And as you can see, I'm kind of in the process of moving offices. So I've got some boxes back here. It's a little chaotic, but it's working.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Veronika.
Mm-hmm. And who's next? Let's go, Joshua.
All right. My name is Joshua Blount. I am the Chief Visionary Officer of Techitors, and we work with tech startups for marketing purposes. I've been working in sales and marketing for 12 years. I have a lot of international experience working with people in Europe as well as in Asia, and obviously the United States as well. So I recently relocated to Washington from Chicago. So I am still involved with AMA Chicago as well as this chapter. And it's been a really fun experience kind of seeing how different chapters work and networking between the two chapters as well. So that's a pretty basic rundown of me and what I do.
Yeah. So, but soon we're going to get you fully, right?
Maybe. I don't know. They're trying to keep me in Chicago too.
They have enough volunteers. I just saw them at Leadership Summit. That if you follow our Twitter, you probably saw a lot of posts about that a few weeks ago. No. They have enough volunteers.
You're gonna have to fight Kara over there. It's gonna be
I'm
a
a
battle.
Wisconsin girl. I got Illinois wiped. That's fine. I'm teasing. We're so happy to have you, Joshua.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here as well. I guess I don't have a choice, but Carley, you have to go next.
Yeah. So I also just relocated to the Washington area. I came from the Nashville chapter. I had kind of just started getting involved with AMA there. The marketing agency that I work with, we're a boutique agency. We just hit 3 years. I've been with the company for about 2.5 of those years. So I work as the content and digital marketing manager on that team. We work with a variety of clients in all industries. My specialty, though, is really SEO, all things content. So emails, websites, landing pages, social media, one sheets, ads, the whole spectrum of content. And so when I joined with the AMA Washington chapter, it was a really natural fit for me to get plugged in with the communications team. I'm now helping out with emails and our newsletters on that team, and then also working hand in hand with Julie on market mix, which is coming up in August.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. We are going to be announcing speakers and the agenda and everything in the coming weeks. I'm very excited. We've got a great day coming up. So glad that you brought that up, Carley. Thank you. Awesome. So we're marketers. Some of us have different journeys, different experiences that led us to this day. My background, as many people know, came from retail management, sales, and then I moved into marketing. So that's a long 20-year journey. And so, what about each of you? And I'm going to start with you, Joshua.
Sure. So my journey started, I guess, when I started working as an adult, and I actually started working in sales.
Okay.
And the reason why, even when I was a teenager, I understood that if I was ever to start a business, I needed to get really good at sales. No matter what industry I went into and whatever I decided to do, I had to understand sales. I mean, it's a basic of making a business work and generating revenue. So I worked in sales for 6 years. And once I felt that I had a pretty good grasp on how sales worked, I realized that I needed to go into marketing next. That was the obvious evolution of working in sales. And so it's been a continuous journey. Now I have over 6 years of experience as well in marketing. So 12 years combined between sales and marketing. And that's kind of how I got here. I still have my agency, of course, and my agency is really an arm of what I still plan to do in the future, which is continuing to grow businesses, starting more of my own and using my agency as a service towards other companies that I want to start. So it's been something that's going to really be like a 20-30 year journey, and I'm kind of in the middle of it right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And having that sales background definitely helps you as a marketer because of all of the relationship building that you made while you were in sales, because you have to listen to the customer. And sometimes we come up as marketers, we come up with a great campaign, but in practice, it's not going to work. But in theory, it does. So having that sales background is great. Carley, I'm going to turn to you. How has your journey? How did it start, and what led you to this point?
Yeah, so I am more at the beginning of my journey. I've been working professionally for about 5 years now. So, my start is a little bit different. I came in with a journalism degree. I knew that I loved writing. I loved telling stories. And so that's really where I got my foundation. And I did a summer abroad in London during Brexit. And during that time, I was studying media relations, really covering like the ins and outs and what was happening in the journalism industry as a whole. And it was kind of in that moment that I got pretty disheartened with the outlook of the industry. And I started feeling like I needed to find a different path. And so it seemed really natural for me to flow into public relations, just with that storytelling background. And from there, I stumbled upon SEO and started doing product descriptions, really tapping into search engines and how to help companies grow their brand organically, which, again, fed into public relations in that way. So yeah, once I tapped into SEO, marketing was like a very easy flow, really starting to get to know the strategy and, the analytics that are driving these decisions that we're making as marketers. So yeah, I've been with Brandmark for about 3 years now. And this, I feel like, has been the majority of my marketing experience. And it's been incredibly exciting just to see how much growth can happen in 3 years professionally. I feel like every day I'm learning something new, and that is the excitement of marketing. If I could wrap it up in one statement. Yeah,
that's awesome. And it never changes. I've been in marketing now since 2009, and it's changed since then. So, and Veronika, you have a different start because you basically got involved in marketing in college. So you started even further back than all.
Yeah, it
Tell me about that.
actually goes back further than college.
Okay.
I was I was a swimmer back in high school, and then I was forced into early retirement due to some back injuries, and I had to figure out a class to use my spare time for. So I ended up in graphic design and ended up liking it and competed in a SkillsUSA competition called advertising design.
Wow.
And that's completely how I fell into marketing in the advertising world was already when I was 15. So did
Mhm.
that, competed and went to nationals. I was just like, what? So the second I got to college, I knew I was in it for the long run. So went
Mhm.
into marketing, started a design agency for my school, things like that. And by the
Wow.
time I graduated, I've already had marketing experience. And now here I
Mhm.
am, the director of marketing. It's crazy the past pretty much decade.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
only saying I'm 25 too, but I mean, I've been in it. So
Yeah.
I've been in, knee deep, like swimming
Yeah.
in there. I love marketing, and that's just the way it's going to be. I
Yeah.
was
I
lucky.
mean,
I found it very young.
yes, yes, yeah. Some people you find it later, but you're happy when you do find it.
Yes.
You're like, yeah, I wish I would have found it earlier, but all that experience that I had does translate. So it's your journey is your journey. So
Mhm.
it's thank you all for sharing that. And to the audience, feel free to share your journey down in the comments. We'd love to hear it. Use the comments, people, please. Thank you. So we're going to talk about marketing, but we're going to talk about the future, the future of marketing. See what I did there? Because that's market mix. So, what is a trend in marketing that you're each seeing? Because you each have a different perspective in marketing, and I'm curious what you're seeing that's coming up. And I'm going to start with you, Carley.
Yeah, so I kind of touched on this a little. The amount of data that we're able to see now with digital marketing is really, I think, reshaping how marketers work. And so as you start using this data and start looking for different ways to apply it, one of the big things that I'm interested in right now is how AI is being used in content. Um, I have kind of mixed feelings about this, right? As a content writer, like, am I going to lose my job here, within the next 10 years? Or is this technology something that we should be using in tandem with our skills as writers? And that's something that I've been spending a lot of time thinking about. And definitely, I let this data drive the content that I write. It helps me figure out topics to cover, and also like what is working, right? Like we have so much access to this data to really decide, build our content strategies and decide how we want to repurpose content. It's completely driving my focus right now. And going back to AI, the way I look at AI and copywriting, I really think that there is opportunity for AI to help us. But as writers, it's our responsibility to bring the human element and the nuances that only we understand as humans, and make sure that that doesn't get lost in the content, so that it doesn't become just noise. Because without that human element, it really just does become content. It doesn't really serve any value. So that's something I'm going to be looking forward to and watching closely over the next 10 years. It's something I definitely try to talk about on my LinkedIn profile if you're ever interested in learning more.
Yeah, awesome. And so speaking with AI or about AI, what's neat that National AMA does, if for all members, they have something called My AMA Daily, and they use AI to curate articles that you're interested when you fill out your profile, your membership profile. So if you're interested in being an AMA member, they do have that feature, and they're using it very well. There were a few years ago, they were testing something like that out with, I don't remember, but I'm glad that they're using it, and they're using AI well, and writers are still being able to write. So that's great. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
I find myself opening that pretty much every day. Like, even no matter how busy my day is working at an agency, like there's something, one of those articles catches my eye and I'm like, yeah, I need to read this.
Mm-hmm.
So it's definitely a great resource to, stay a lifelong learner and continue learning something new every day.
Exactly. Cool. Joshua, how about you? What is a trend that you're seeing?
Yeah, so what I usually focus on is digital marketing. So obviously, I really love marketing technology and kind of building out tech stacks and marketing automation, and doing everything really online. But surprisingly, the biggest trend that I'm seeing right now is for live events. Um, there was a prediction at the end of 2019 among a lot of marketers that 2020 was going to be the year of in-person events, and there was going to be a shift away from this heavy focus on digital experiences, and then obviously COVID happened.
Yeah.
So I think now that obviously all of our restrictions are ending. I mean, there's no more mask mandates. There's no restrictions anymore. People are very hungry for in-person events in every industry, in industries that are generally very tech heavy and forward thinking, and usually trying to look towards utilizing these marketing, online marketing tools. They want to do events. They want to go to events. They want to host events in person. It's a huge shift.
Yeah.
It's understandable, but it's also a little surprising for me that even with companies that again are very digitally focused, they want to do in-person things.
What do you think we're gonna start seeing at in-person events that we may not digitally? Any speculation?
So do you think, could you rephrase that? Sorry.
Do you okay, sorry. Do you think then the quality, hopefully the quality of the events and what is offered at the events is going to also be shifted? Because now we're looking for live events. Are people having events just for the sake of events to have one? Or are they putting more quality thought into planning?
I think people are putting quality thought into their planning, just because it's something that they've been able to think about for years and kind of dream about doing. But I think at the same time, event attendees are going to have low expectations, and they're going to be pretty happy with whatever gets put out.
Okay.
I think that a lot of people would be happy to just be in person and to network and be face to face in front of people, and not have to worry about getting COVID or things like that. So I think it's pretty much a win-win. Good planning along with low expectations, and again, just having the ability to network is going to be good for most people.
Right. And do you think that maybe we'll start falling into that trap again of, okay, now we're having events because we wanted to see everybody in person again, and the novelty kind of wore off? Do you see that happening?
Maybe not for a while. I think it could take several years, just because now we know that type of thing can be taken away from us. And so I think a lot of people will appreciate it. I don't think that a lot of the trends with doing things online is going to go away. There's no reason why people still have to go into an office every day or have to do in-person meetings all the time. I think Zoom calls or even things like this will still exist. But obviously, going back to in-person events and trying to spend time outside of normal work hours going to events is going to trend for quite a while.
I love it. I love the positive attitude towards this because we need it. We need it right now. And I love that we're going back to in person. So thank you, Joshua. Veronika, what are you seeing?
Oh, one of my favorite things that I've been following intensely is the way brands are leveraging TikTok. Like things like Duolingo. Have you guys seen Duolingo's latest TikTok videos?
Yeah, they're amazing.
They are amazing and they're risque, first off, and then they're partnering with just odd brands. Like they did one with Scrub Daddy. I will let you guys look that up yourselves. That is let's just say I might be a little scarred for life, but it was amazing. I'm like, how are they doing this? And just leveraging TikTok of all things. I think Duolingo, especially, it's like a language learning app.
Mhm.
I think they grew their following from like 100,000 to like 5 million within a few months. It's insane what they're doing with TikTok and just the way they're leveraging their brands and saying and bringing it to a new audience. Because I mean, that's where Gen Z is. They
Yeah.
haven't learned Duolingo or like Scrub Daddy sponges, but now they're seeing this on their feed and they're getting a whole new audience, but they're being extremely creative about it too. They're not just doing little promotional things. It's like Duolingo trying to, I think it's reaching out to Dua Lipa. She's an artist, so she's like, I want Dua Lipa to be my girlfriend and things like that. It's just crazy what they're doing. So please, everybody, look up their TikTok accounts.
So Dua Lipa was in a Duolingo.
Yes.
Okay. Say that 5 times fast.
Yeah, exactly. It is just insane what they're doing. And I just love checking up on it too. I'm like, how can I do something crazy and funny like this for construction lending? Now that's the question, right?
Right.
But if a language learning app can do it, why can't I?
Right. And what I've seen too is, because at first when social media platforms really came out, it was like, you got to be on all of them. Well, why? If that's not where your audience is, it's really, I think another trend to go along with what you're saying is leaning into that one, maybe 2 platforms that you really get that engagement and not worry about the ones where you're not.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah, it's, where are your customers? Where is your audience? Who is buying and where are they? It's not, let's have a Twitter account just for the sake of having a Twitter account when you're, baker. It's like, no, that's not where you want to be. So, and it depends on your service, your product. So the fact that they're using a platform like TikTok where it's a lot of there's talking, there's singing, there's people multilingual, it's a great way to understand other artists and other content creators that you may not have because you're using this app. That's brilliant. I love it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think there really is a trend for B2B to start using TikTok, not just Duolingo, because there's so much engagement and so much reach that you can get, where I think, it started off as being a very consumer facing platform. But I think I've been hearing a lot of other brands being like, you know what, TikTok's not going anywhere. Like, you can get hundreds of thousands of views. Like, let's just make stuff. And I think it's a good trend. I think there's going to be a lot more companies that will start using TikTok.
Right. And I think, I don't know if this happened during the pandemic or right around, where there was a gentleman who mixed paint, I think at, I don't know if it was Home Depot, but it was one of those big box stores. And he made, just after hours, he'd make paint different colors and these really great videos on TikTok. And they fired him. And so another paint company hired him. They're like, we love your stuff. Come do that for us. We will pay you a wage. And so he was able to understand the audience. And unfortunately, that company lost out and it was big headlines. And so they got a little, people got mad towards them. Like, why would you do that? You fired him. Why?
Exactly. Yeah,
So
it's just... it's a creative platform. I mean, this morning I was looking, Alaska Airlines is doing a campaign on there with Barbie dolls.
Yes.
Like, it's so goofy, but so fun to watch.
Yeah, they have good stuff. They had an event last week, Aviation Days, and part of the whole thing that we got to see was how to design the livery, which is basically the outside of the plane. So we got to talk to the graphic designer, and he was showing us the TikTok videos that they were doing, and I'm like, these are nuts. What was Lasky, the little plane?
Yeah,
it's adorable. It's just for fun, like, and nobody, I love it. Nobody gets hurt. It's good, clean fun, and it tickles your fancy for a couple minutes.
exactly.
Yeah,
and it gets us talking about it. I mean, look at us.
Yeah, exactly. So I love having more of a discussion part of it, as opposed to I'm just going to ask you a question and we answer. So let's I love the discussion part, and this is where I want to talk about what is exciting about marketing. We were just talking about TikTok, but this is a question for everybody, so feel free to kind of shout it out. And what excites you about marketing?
I think for me, you know, again, I kind of touched on this, but the opportunity to help brands like really tell their story, that's what gets me out of bed every morning. Like that's what makes me love my job. When I can help them, you know, we work with a lot of small businesses. And so when you're able to help them share who they are and why you should buy from them with a bigger audience, and then they actually see the return of that, like that is my love story right there. And just to see the happiness that they feel when other people connect with who they really are. Recently, I worked with a company that builds, creates barbecue sauces, and he like does it all in his own home and like has won all of these barbecue pitmaster awards and we're talking Nashville, right? But you know, for him to be able to sell his product and people to really relate to it, that it's a beautiful story of food and sharing and, you know, giving back to the community. That's what makes me excited about marketing.
I'd have to go along those same pages. I mean, being able to share people's story is just awesome. And like at my company now, we're expanding our services to offer marketing to builders. So I'm going to be able to help builders like create little websites, get them out there, and just so when people look them up, they can actually see something. It gives them credibility, and it helps people feel validated, especially in small businesses. So giving those small builders that validation they need to get that extra oomph, that extra pep in their step, that's what really gets me excited.
I want to give a very shallow answer. And I get really excited by views and reach.
Okay.
I think that there's something that's really amazing that we live in a time where we have platforms and we can create pieces of content and we can put it out to the world and any amount of people will see it. I think luckily I never had to market before the internet, but you know, sending out mailers probably would have been the equivalent. But nowadays it's a lot easier than that and certainly more cost effective. And I just remember, you know, the first time that I ever had a piece of content get over 1 million views, and it's just like mind blowing. It's like hard to comprehend. And the feeling that I got from that was very exciting. And now if I even get a few hundred views or 1,000 views on a piece of content, it gets me really excited to think that there were thousands of people that saw something that I made. Now, obviously, it's not as simple as just slapping something together and putting it out there. There's obviously a lot of work that goes into it, but getting views is very exciting for me.
The analytics, I love it. It's so fun because it's that cause and effect feeling of I did this and it caused this, or it brought this type of engagement. It is so fascinating, especially not when you don't get engagement. That's not so fun. But when you do, it's almost what's the word I'm looking for? It's rewarding, I guess.
It's
validating.
It's exciting and rewarding, definitely.
Yeah.
I'm still happy if I put something out and it only gets 100 views. That still excites me. Yeah. The fact that something took up somebody's screen and their time for a few seconds, 100 people, like that's a lot of people.
Yeah,
you know, and I think we forget that when we have the hundreds of thousands of views on TikTok. You know, we don't appreciate those small numbers too, but it's still a good feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. I love all the answers because each of our journeys brought us to a different part of marketing for a reason. So I love that. And now I want to talk about the chapter because lots of exciting stuff, but I want to know especially each of you, you were already involved with AMA before you came to our chapter. So I wanted to know, at that point of your life, why did you join AMA? What were you doing? What were you thinking that, like, I want to join this organization? And then brought you here. So more about the beginning. So I'm going to you, Veronika.
Yeah. So, being like I said earlier, I started in college. So it really brought me to it because of what it was. That was marketing. It was a club dedicated to let's get marketing people together, hang out, get some guest speakers involved, that kind of thing. And it was just fun. It was getting to know other marketing students.
Mm-hmm.
And when it came to my time now, it was also I miss that community. I like being surrounded by other marketers because like I'm sure like a lot of people, I'm the only marketer here at my company. So it's, talking to a lot of accountants, builders, that kind of thing, which is fun, don't get me wrong. But I like to be around other marketers every once in a while, bounce ideas off of each other, that kind of thing. So it's that sense of community that I really like.
Absolutely. That one, same here. Same here. So, Carley, what brought you to AMA Nashville? What was your journey to do that? Or not so much journey, but what was your reasoning?
Yeah, for me, it was really about networking. Like, I was new to Nashville. Same here. As I moved here, I knew I wanted to get involved in the Seattle chapter because it's such a great way to meet people in the industry, just to meet people generally. Like life as an adult is it's hard to meet people, especially during pandemic times and COVID. And so, you've already got this common thread with these people that you're meeting, and so it's a great way to connect and learn about your community. And yeah, I think the mentorship and the growth opportunity of learning from other marketers is a big piece of that as well.
Absolutely. And Joshua, what drew you into AMA Chicago, and what was your reasoning there?
Sure. So I guess I started off for very selfish reasons. I saw that there was a directory. And so I just wanted to have a backlink and I wanted a place to potentially have new leads coming in. But that shifted very quickly after I had joined. I mean, within a few weeks, I realized that there was a lot more going on with AMA. And obviously volunteer opportunities and things like that. And I was drawn into doing these types of things because I think that there's a big lack of understanding among businesses about how marketing works. And I think there's even a lack of understanding about how marketing works among professionals, which I know is kind of a controversial thing to say, but it's true. I think that professional marketers need a lot of help in what they do, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe some marketers aren't as good at what they do as they think they are, myself included. There's a lot of room for improvement. And so I think that having an organization that provides resources and creates a community and, helps people get better at what they do is very important for professionals, as well as, again, for the professional community outside of marketing as well. And that is something that we're kind of looking at with AMA Chicago, is to try and enable businesses that aren't marketing focused to be better at marketing, because there's just a lot of room for improvement for everyone. And I think AMA does a good job in that. And it's helped me a lot. I've become a better marketer since joining 7 months ago. So it's very exciting.
Yeah. And we're happy to have all of you because we want to make things better. And so before we close out, I just want to and thank you all so much for your time. Is there anything, I'm going to give each of you a moment to maybe tag on to something that you want the audience to know, something that maybe you said earlier or that we didn't get to. So I'm going to start with you, Joshua. Is there anything that you want the audience to know just in general about marketing, or perhaps about you?
I think as far as marketing is concerned, if you're going to do one thing, focus on quality content that is delightful for your audience. think about what they want and need and create that for them. Don't think about selling your product. Don't think about promoting your company. Just provide value to your audience. And I think if you do that, all the other things don't matter as much. As far as for myself is concerned, I mentioned earlier on this call, I am trying to apply for the 4 Under 40 award that the American Marketing Association is currently offering. So please give me a nomination for that.
Will do. Will do. And Carley, how about you? Is there anything perhaps that we didn't cover or that you want to reiterate about marketing or yourself that you want the audience to really, really know?
I think for me, I just want to skip straight to the promotion part and say, be on the lookout for Market Mix. I'm really excited that about the event. I think the speakers are going to be great. I love the theme, the future of marketing. So if you enjoyed this conversation at all, I would say definitely you're going to want to attend.
Yep, absolutely. Veronika, how about you? Is there anything that you'd like to reiterate or add?
Yeah, I mean, marketers, we wear tons and tons of hats, and May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So everybody likes to think marketers can do everything, and we simply can't. So take care of yourself as a marketer, as a person. Everything else, mental health is my other passion. So be aware. It's May. Think about yourself as well.
Boundaries.
Yes.
We all need to. I think marketers, we don't really allow boundaries.
No,
we say we don't enforce it. Like,
it.
oh no, I can quick do that.
Yeah, exactly. So just be aware of that.
Exactly. Say no every so often. It is okay. But I do want to point out that as it's been mentioned before, but AMA Puget Sound, just like every other AMA chapter, as well as AMA, is a 501c3 volunteer-led nonprofit organization. That's why we're talking to the volunteers today. And it takes more than just marketers to successfully run a chapter. So if you live in the Puget Sound region and you have experience, even if you just have a slight interest in marketing, we need help with diversity, equity, inclusion, events, technology, recruitment, some sales, which Joshua, I'm sure you would love to be on a bigger team, just more access to more potential. So we need help. There is a link at the bottom of the description if you're interested. Again, if you live in the Puget Sound region, that really helps. So we've been talking about Market Mix. I will have a link below to show more information about that. And I want to thank everyone today in our events. Cannot talk today. So I want to thank all of you, Joshua, Carley, and Veronika. Thank you so much for your time, not just in today's episode, but also for the chapter and for AMA as a whole. We love that you're here, and we love the ideas that are coming out of you and what we can do to make the chapter better. And to the audience, I'm talking to you. If you like today's episode, please like and subscribe. We hit the 100 mark, but our goal is really 1,000. So please, we need 900 more subscribers, please. So we'll do more episodes like this where we introduce the board as well as volunteers. So we'll do that in the future. Thank you so much. And everyone, I hope you have a great day. Bye.
Thanks, guys.